talk. She said I could take off my mask. So I don't want you to think that I'm breaking the rules. And then over here, I have 2 new visitors that come to see us. Let's see what they are doing and who they are about. Well, hello there. Oh, hey, you've got a nice warm coat on. Yes, you do. And you've got a mask on. And tell me what your name is. Kafooty. Honey, Kafooty? I never heard of that name before. What does Kafooty mean? Okay, keep your hands, feet, and all other objects to yourself. And that's how you stay fight-free, won't you? Well, that's good that you're coming to teach my friends this. Hey, everybody, this is Kafooty, and he's got a little singing for us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Well, wait a minute, Kafooty. How did you know? Is it everybody's birthday today? Okay. Kafooty said, no, it's not everybody's birthday, but since she missed your birthday and she doesn't know all your birthdays, she was singing happy birthday for everybody. That sure comes in handy for people who are forgetting things. Now, you have a mask on. That hat's from Ireland. Okay, and we got a mask to match her. Here's your glasses. Okay, now, oh, goodness gracious. Who are you? What's your name? You're brown, and you've got a vest on. Oh, pretty. What's your name? Okay. Let's see. And this little angel said, look in my vest. It's got Rose Ellen Stapleton. That was my grandmother's name. So I called her Rosie. But her 3 names are Rose Ellen Stapleton. Do you have 3 names? Do you have 3 names? I have a lot of names. Some of them I can't share. But I'm Aunt Peggy, the story lady, right now. And I bring stories to kids. And while I'm talking at the early set of this, I brought some masks for everybody. Because, you know, we've got to follow the mask rule, don't we? Here, Penelope, Pumpkin. It's okay, we know who you are. Oh, I'm even going to give the candle. You know, when we come to storytelling, we light a candle before we start. And that's because years ago, when they did not have books, a newspaper, a magazine, of course they didn't have a TV. But what they would do is when a storyteller came to town, they would light a candle in the window, okay? Let me light our candle right now. Oh, you want to blow on it and light it? Oh, okay. Our goose lit the candle. And now we've got, oh, pink. You're mainly pink today, so let's give you a pinky one. Okay. And, oh, this is a small turkey. And we know this is our big turkey named Tobias. Well, this small turkey has been sitting on these eggs. Can you see those eggs, everybody? And next year, at Thanksgiving, we can have one of these eggs turn into a turkey because this character, Tobias, he doesn't really want to be taken to be a turkey. So that's why he doesn't eat anything, and he keeps his legs skinny so he doesn't get pulled into the race. And I see we have our snowflakes from winter. And snowflakes, they didn't want a mask, but they said they would take a feather. Oh, well, I'm so glad you have. Okay. Oh, look at The froggy needs a green one. Okay, we have everybody ready, and we are going to share stories today. Brain food. This is plain water. And I call it brain food because it is the best thing you can put in your body for your brain. Your brain has to have some food too. So the best food is water, because the water goes up, the veins go up here, and then they come back down again. And as they go through your body, all that water has vitamins. That's why, you know, when you're on a picnic, your mom will say, don't be drinking that pond water over there. Here we have water over here. So you shouldn't be drinking from a dirty pond water, should you? Okay, now let's get started as we always do. Whoops. Aunt Peggy's watching her feet fall. Okay. As Aunt Peggy the storyteller, I try to bring different things about storytelling that maybe kids didn't know. And one thing is story sprinkles. Mine happen to be green. You can have them be any color. But what you do as a storyteller, you first light the lamp. And in this case, we gave everybody a mask, didn't we? And now we're going to put out the story sprinkles. And when we see the sprinkles, look at that, woo! Then you know some stories from the past, our stories in the future are just ready for your ears. Now, here's our lovely little Mother Goose. I like to start off with Mother Goose because one of the things about stories is you come to me and you know stories already. So we'll see if you know one of Mother Goose's stories.
Here, sweetheart. I'd like to show you some of your favorite nursery rhymes. Let's start off with Humpty Dumpty.
You can sing too.
Humpty Dumpty.
Hello, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could put Humpty together again. You got one more?
How about Hickory Dickory Dock?
That's a good one.
Hickory
Dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one.
Mouse went down.
Hickory dickory dock. Oh, thank you so much. And we will save some for next time. Okay, you did a very good job. You know, you have glasses on like Kafooty. There, you have glasses and Kafooty has glasses. But you won't need your glasses to read anything, but you'll be looking at me. And you know, the last time I was here, we read a story out of this book, The Fall Suitcase Stories. Aunt Peggy puts all the stories she writes into her father's World War II suitcase. So when she was little, she remembered a story that she read in a bookmobile. Do you all know what a bookmobile is? Sometimes, like at my school, that's all we had was a bookmobile. We didn't have a big library. Well, one day I was in there, and the librarian said, you know what, Peggy, I notice you get a lot of stories about poetry. I go, yes, I do. I like stories about poetry. And she said, well, why don't you take this book home with you? It's the story of Emily Dickens and her writing that she did in poem form. She died young, and so they found her stories in a trunk in the attic. Yes, they did. So they didn't even know. And her family goes, oh, look at this trunk. Look at all these stories that Emily wrote. So they get the stories out, and then they published the stories. So that night at the supper table, Aunt Peggy is sitting at the table. She's waiting for the bread to be passed. My brothers always ate it all before they got to me. And so she looks up and she says, Mom and Dad, can I have an idea? And my mom said, well, of course, what is your idea? And I said, well, I heard that Emily Dickinson, she was very young when she died. And all that writing she did, it was never published. So no one saw it. So her mom and dad published them, and then she became a famous poet of the day. So I said to my mom and dad, well, you know all those poems I write for all the holidays and everything? They both said yes. And of course my brother said, oh yeah, the ones we never read, ha ha ha, brothers. Anyway, I looked at my dad and Mom and I go, well, I want a trunk. If you have a trunk, can we have a trunk? And then I can put my writing in that trunk. And I'll be just like Emily Dickinson. It'll be so neat. And so I made that trunk, and way to go. So my dad says, well, we got some problem right there. We don't have a trunk, but we do have our World War II suitcase. So Dad got out his World War II suitcase, and then I said, well, Dad, can you put that in the attic for me? Because that's where they found Emily Dickinson's. Dad said, oh, there's another problem. We don't have an attic. So my mom said, she was always good with ideas. Okay, I've got an idea. Up on the second floor, there's that closet that goes real far back, but it has no lights. Let's put your things there, and I'll get an extension cord and put a lamp in there so you can go and do your stories there. I said, oh, great, and then when I die, you'll find them there? And they both said, yes. So they didn't want to talk about the rest of it. So when I get this suitcase and I put my things in it, you can't see it, but I took a sharp knife and I wrote, the works of Peggy Dolan. And so I just had all kinds of little story poems in there. And as you can see, we've all masked up. And you know some of Mother Goose's stories. And, well, let's look at you. Now that Thanksgiving is over, don't you think you could eat something? Mm-hmm. Oh, he said he heard that at Friendship Village, they had ice cream. You could go down and get ice cream. Well, that's good. So after story time, you want to go down and we'll get you an ice cream? Okay, that's good. If you notice, some of our friends don't like to talk. They get nervous, so I just put up with it. Now this is so funny. We saw the one sitting on things. This is so funny because, oh no! You lost both of yours. Here, we'll put this pink one on to go with your outfit. This is a rabbit. Now this rabbit is so funny, and she, at the story time, in the spring, we sing for her, and we sing, Here Comes Peter Cottontail, and we sing a little springtime song. Okay, now this next story we're going to read, let me get it and show you. Wait, I need to drink some more brain food. Okay, they've asked for water. Just a little bit now. Okay. Penelope, Mother Goose, Rosie. Okay, there you go. That's the foodie. And you kids, if you drink more water, you'll be thinking, oh, I feel revived. This is marvelous. And really, when all you've done is you've given your brain some vitamins that's in the water. So that's why my mom said, don't go drinking that pond water. Okay, now this is the fall suitcase, and we read you, I'm going to come back in October, and we're going to do this one here. And then the next one is Timothy and Tobias, and we're going to do that one again. And the snowflakes, here they are. They came down, and they're going to come down again. The weatherman told me we might have snow at the end of next week. So you'll want to look for that. Now, the next thing we have is, oh my bears, the spring suitcase stories. So after Christmas and after the winter holidays, we like to begin thinking about spring. And so this spring suitcase stories have 3 stories in there. One about a ladybug, who sees this lightning bug, and the lightning bug thinks she's losing her light. She feels very sad. But then all the other lightning bugs get together, just like that, and they get an idea to keep her going. Now this is a green leprechaun. This guy comes out in March, and he comes over from Ireland, and he also has some strange words like leprechaun. That's a pretty strange word. And do you have any others, Rita? Oh, shamrocks and clover. That's a good phrase that you remember. Okay, I'll sing just a little bit of it. It's a great day for the Irish. It's a great day for fair. The sidewalks of Chesterfield are full of stories. And sure, we're gonna get our favorite story. It's a great day for the Irish, for the flags in full array. We're feeling so inspired that because for all the Irish, it's a great, great day. Okay, now here is, hey, my big old fat green frog. You look like you might be tired today, huh? Let's see what you have to say. Yeah, you can take your mask off because you're going to be helping me tell the story. Because this story is about a mushroom, a little stubby white mushroom. And the stubby white mushroom has a problem. The frog says you need to know what the problem is so that everybody can be in the problem solving of the whole story to help her. Okay. He agrees, he thinks that's a good idea. So, you know, a lot of times when I think about coming to do my stories, you know, in your life, when you do different things, you say to yourself, oh, gee, I really like that. It's so much fun. I'm going to do that again. And so, here we go. And we find in the last pages of this book, we find Mitch the mushroom. You can see him right here in the corner. And that's a big old fat green frog. Okay, big old fat green frog said she tried out for the part anyway because she could see she wasn't the biggest, fattest green frog, but she thought she had a high intellect, so she thought she could memorize the story. And she can. So this is it. And what I think about is when I do tell stories, I think of favorite things. We just had all kinds of holidays. They're our favorite thing. And were you sad when you had to put your Christmas tree away for a year? I was too. I kept it up till January 10th. Well, now we have other favorite things. So everybody, dig down. I'll come around and you whisper to me what your favorite thing is. Raindrops on roses and whiskers with kittens, bright copper kettles and long fully mittens, brown paper packages tied up in spring. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. You get a solo here. When the dog bites, when beating, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Now, as you know, I went around to listen to their favorite things, and that's why I came up with those things. Okay, now I'm going to take some brain juice. I'm going to start the story. Candles lit. Is everybody doing well? Okay, frog. Froggy, can you sit here so I can hold the book? Let me test. Can you all hear Froggy? Oh, okay, everybody can hear Froggy. And I see you all have your masks. Put your mask on. There you go. Okay. Now this story, the main character has a problem. And then we also have a narrator. A narrator is a person who tells the story. So I could be a narrator for story time. You can be a narrator when you go home and read to your little brothers and sisters. And as you saw me come in, I had my cape. You could go home and make a cape by going into Mom's closet, getting out a great big bath towel, putting it around your neck, and then you can run through the house with your story cape. Then the next time we have storytelling, you're going to tell me how you told those stories with your cape. Now, I did have some moms call me one time, and they said, "What do you want these kids to use this towel for?" I said, "Oh, it's for a story cape." And she said, "Well, they didn't tell me that. They said it was a surprise." And you know how kids are with their surprises. I said, "Yes, I know, but, you know, it's a story cape." Now, this problem is with the mushroom. And a problem is usually something you can't think about, something you can't do, something you aren't. So, this little problem for this mushroom, here's the mushroom, can you see it? A little white mushroom. Of course, this is a green frog. But the white mushroom didn't want to be white because everything, everything around her had beautiful painted colors to it. So she was thinking, I think I want to be another color. I'm going to choose green. I'm going to choose green because everything around me is green. Okay, big old fat green frog. Are you ready? Okay. Listen to the names. See if you can hear on our first part of the story, what is the name of the mushroom? Mitch, a stubby white mushroom I met along the way, said he wasn't happy. But why, I asked. He wouldn't say. He just kept rolling in the green grass. And over in the clover, he'd glide real fast. Then he jumped in the evergreen, and he came covered with ferns. Then he wrapped himself in the green willow branch, and he turned, and he turned, and he turned. Then he found a pond with green moss on top. Then he wrapped himself all over again in the big old fat green moss. Then, after the pond, as you can see, he's by the pond. Oh, now, this gives me a good chance to tell you. The person who did these stories is called an illustrator. The person who writes stories is called a writer, or author. But the artwork is an illustrator, just so you know that. Now, did you remember the name of the main character? I said that's what you had to do. Everybody count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Mitch the mushroom! Mitch the mushroom! Okay, everybody, let's give a good hand for Mitch the mushroom. Okay, good hand. Okay, when he finally stopped to talk, he was stained in shades of green. From the grass, the clover, the willow, the moss, and oh yes, from the ferns of the evergreen. Am I as green as you are now? He breathlessly hoped Okay, Auntie. That's a ladybug. Well, oh, there's an ant right there. The ant went up on that evergreen. A choir of crickets came chirping by and asked if they could stay. Well, you might as well join the ant, Mitch murmured, until the rain goes away. Well, I'm good for nothing else. Then, before my eyes, came a buzzing honeybee. Hey, down there, he yelled to Mitch, have you any room for me? Now, as you can see, Mitch the mushroom, he looks like he's like an umbrella. And so everybody, the bee, the ladybugs, the grasshoppers, they're all going under, and Mitch is enjoying this. Then, before my eyes, came the buzzing honeybee and said, have you any room for me? As I watched Mitch and friends amidst the teeming bog, I wondered if he'd have room to shelter a big old fat green frog. Let's see. Look at that picture, everybody. Look at that. The mushroom is raining, and she has everybody underneath her mushroom hat. And even the green frog fit. Isn't that neat? He welcomed me with open arms and had a smile upon his face. As it rained over him, he explained, all the green. There isn't a trace. But it doesn't bother me. For now, I have something to do. I'm as white as milk, not green, but I can shelter my friends until the rain is through. You've helped others and myself, I said, and I'm as green can be. You see, it's not the color that makes you important. It's what you have, what you do, you see? And so you will end that story thinking about what you want to be. Mitch the mushroom is out at every rainy day. Sometimes in the snow you'll see him. Then you'll see little ants and little bugs flying away. Yeah, but that's really nice. Now, I think that you guys were good listeners today, and you kept on your masks. That was very good. And the Spring Suitcase stories, the author, does anybody know who the author of Spring Suitcase stories is? I hear everybody, and they said, Aunt Peggy! Yes, and kids, when I go to see their stories, they call me Aunt Peggy the Story Lady. So that's how we came to be. Now, we put all of our animals together, and we put them in my dad's World War II case. And we make sure we have a light, and I log it in honor of my mother, because she put a lamp way back in the closet so I can read and write my stories. Then when I became older, I was teaching, so I told the stories to my kids. When I retired, I looked around and I said, oh, I have an idea. Maybe I can write my stories and they'll put it in a book. And then I won't have to die and let my stories be published after I die. I'll have them published now, before I would die. Because that's what happened to Emily Dickinson, Okay, so we've got the fall suitcase stories and the spring suitcase stories. Okay? So, and you know what? Since I saw you last, we had a new year. It was a happy new year. And you know that sometimes, oh, you're going to sing. Okay, so Turkey, you can keep this off because you're going to sing. Okay, and I'll let the frog, he can sing too. A famous song around there, I bet you heard your mom and dad, or if you have an aunt like me, I always sing the songs for the season. So, there we go. Oh, what are you doing? Okay. And the song is Old Lang Syne. Should